Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back or welcome to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. My name is Jessie Brown, and I am so excited to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 190. If you missed my last episode, number 189, I shared with you all 10 resolutions that you might not have thought of. My camera is coming in and out of focus, and it's driving me a little bit crazy, but it's okay. If this is your first time tuning in, hello, welcome. I know that this time of year is focused a lot on goals and lessons people have learned. And so if you stumbled on this podcast for the first time, I am so excited to have you here. And I hope that you stay here and enjoy this journey with me and with this community for the next year to follow. This last year has been probably one of the most life-changing years of my life. And I want to share a little bit about that with you. And so today I'm going to be sharing 10 lessons with you that I learned this year. And as much as it was easy to think of 10, this year was just filled with so much change in a good way, so much growth, reaping of so many plants and seeds that I have planted over the last several years. It's finally started to even pop out of the soil a little bit. And I hope that you take the time to reflect on the things and the lessons that you have learned over this last year. Because as much as I'm sharing my lessons with you in the hopes that you don't have to go through the things that I did to learn them, I'm sure you have so many lessons that you learned this year that by sharing with others, you will be able to help them. If you're watching video, I have to just laugh. I went and dried my bangs in between recording 2 different episodes, and it looks like I'm wearing like a toupee on my head right now with these bangs. I don't know what to do with them. And so if you're watching video and you see me like flustering with my hair, it's because it kind of looks crazy. I don't really care, but at the same time, it's just kind of funny and caught my attention. So if you see me kind of just being like WTF to my hair, that's what's going on. So anyways, nonetheless, I am so excited. This is the last time that we will be chatting until 2024. And so naturally, we have to have fun with it. Today is December 28th. So there is a couple of days until the new year, which means you have plenty of time to sit down with yourself, maybe a cup of tea, cup of coffee, beverage of choice, and do some reflecting for yourself. But I wanted to give you some ideas of some lessons that I learned this year because, like I said, this has been such a jam-packed year full of so many different emotions and up and downs and experiences and just amazing things. And so without further ado, I'm going to share with you guys 10 lessons that I learned in 2023. Okay. Number 1, we're going right in, which is kind of what I do in my podcast, but like we are diving right in. Number 1, just because it was once in alignment doesn't mean it always will be. Just because someone was once in alignment doesn't mean it always will be. And guess what? That's okay. When I started 2023 versus how I'm leaving 2023, there are things that are completely black and white of what I thought was going to be in my life forever and what now is, based on growing and evolving and changing. And that's okay. This year I really began to be okay with the fact that just because something was once aligning with your life and working with you and you loved it and you enjoyed it and it was a part of you, it doesn't mean it always has to be the case. We're very good at holding on to things that we're used to, bring us comfort, are familiar, whatever. But if you're having those gut feelings, those signs, that just intuitive sense that something is no longer in alignment for you, it's probably because it's not. And again, my lesson of this year was that's okay. In fact, That's a beautiful sign that you are growing and evolving as a person. What is your relationship when you outgrow things? Is there a part of you that enjoys staying in the known because that is how we are wired? But is there anything in your life that you feel intuitively maybe isn't so much in alignment anymore? And are you allowing yourself the permission to know that it's okay to let it go? It doesn't always have to remain. And so that was definitely my biggest lesson. Not my biggest, but very much up there in my lessons of this year was I'm okay now with letting things go and evolving, of knowing that things are not supposed to be the same for our whole life. That's also a very boring life to live. I was very good at holding on to things and thinking that if things were a certain way for a certain amount of time, that's how it has to be all the time. Couldn't be further from the truth. So that is my first lesson. Number 2, you have to let go in order to receive. This is in so many areas of life, but the main ones that I've seen this in is relationships and in work opportunities, such as opportunities in life. Again, it's that piece of holding on. When we hold on to things because we're scared of the unknown, because the unknown is a scary place to be, and kind of saying the same thing twice, we're very good at keeping ourselves in the same situation. The biggest lesson I learned this year based on where I am now is that the only way to receive new aligned things is to let go. And I'm not going to sit here and say that that's easy, because it's really hard to let things go, especially when we've been holding on to something for a certain amount of time and our heart, even though it knows it's not what's best for our future, it still cares and it still tries to find all the reasons to stay. If there's any part of you that feels like it's time to let go of something, I promise you that resistance will continue to get stronger. But I also promise you that eventually, once you let something go, something new will come in its place. Whether that is in a relationship, whether that is in your job, right? A passion. We must let go in order to receive. Number 3, and I say this loosely, but also seriously, stuff isn't that important, meaning physical stuff. Get rid of shit. We all have way too much stuff. I got rid of 30 hoodies today. 30. Do you know how many I still have left? Probably like 40. One person does not need 70 sweaters. But I would hold on to things. I'm taking a bunch of stuff to donate right after I record these episodes, because I was someone that used to hold on to everything. It gave me validation, it gave me safety, it did give me joy. But then I just started having all this stuff. And it was overwhelming me, and it was being chaotic, and it was overwhelming my life. Stuff, yes, it's okay to have things that you love and that bring you joy. I have certain things that I'm like, I will never get rid of that. But stuff will never bring you happiness. Like, holistically. That was one of my biggest lessons from this year, is less is more. Having less stuff to be a distraction and to overwhelm my mind actually allowed a lot more inner peace to come out. There's a lot of studies around this, around having less stuff is actually very beneficial for the human mind. And so I encourage you, as you go into this next year, maybe do a purge. Go into each room and get rid of 10 things. Notice how that feels to let go. Once you start doing it, you're like, wow, that feels really good. And just notice. But again, all of these are going to resonate differently. These were my biggest lessons. But again, I wanted to share them in the hopes that even one of them helps even one of you. Okay, number 4. If you don't look after your body, it won't look after you. This year, my area of focus has been on nourishing my body and moving my body, which is actually number 5. Moving your body is actually life-changing. So I'm going to put these two kind of together. When you begin to actually take your health seriously, you will notice such a difference. And I know that things are expensive and times are tough. But even just the act of moving your body, which costs $0, is a life-changing thing in and of itself. But when we neglect our body, even down to just like hygiene, looking after ourselves, keeping ourselves clean, wearing things that make us feel good, make us feel pretty, looking after our body, it then has the capability to look after us in return. Moving your body, whether you struggle with mental health or you don't, which we all do in some way, mental health is actually, or moving my body has actually saved my life many times this year. I started going to the gym consistently again, weight training again. I'm slowly bringing yoga back. Yoga was a large area of focus for my life last year, and then I kind of switched this year into more weight training. Now I'm really focused on kind of bringing the two together. My best mental health days are the days that I move my body, especially when I get outside or when I lift heavy. I'm telling you, you guys, looking after your body is one of the best things that you can do to kind of boomerang affect having better mental health. It is gonna look different every single day, and that's okay. But on the days that you don't feel like showing up, those are the days that you likely most need to show up. Those are the days that you need that boost. You need those hormonal boosts. You need to get that energy moving and flowing within your body. And so those were two huge lessons, which I already knew in hindsight before this year. But this year I was very intentional with them, and I'm here to tell you with 100% certainty that it will change your life. Moving your body and looking after your body. Number 6, staying optimistic is the secret to happiness. This one could not be more true from my perspective. Staying optimistic of tomorrow's going to be an amazing day. This is going to be an amazing year. Even if you don't fully believe it or know how that's going to happen or have any evidence to back that up, being optimistic is one of the highest levels of vibration and frequency that we can be in, because you're looking for the good. There are days when it's like, I can't find anything good to focus on, but when I stay optimistic of like, I know good days are coming though. I know I'll probably feel better tomorrow. Optimism allows us to get out of the present moment for just a second and to be hopeful. Hopeful is better than dwelling. I wrote that one with such passion beneath it, that staying optimistic is the secret to happiness, because I truly believe it's a lot easier to be happy if you're thinking about a brighter, beautiful, lighter future. But when you lose optimism and you lose hope for a brighter future, that's really when we start to feel depressed, we feel anxious, we feel low, we feel lost. Focus on being optimistic, even if, again, you don't have to believe it. In fact, our brain doesn't really know when we believe something and when we don't. But when we can practice being optimistic and looking forward to something, it allows us something to hold on to, especially on those harder days. I've started waking up and saying something amazing is going to happen today. And some days it's just as small as somebody waving to me, somebody saying hi, or maybe it's a full act of kindness, whatever. But you then begin to wire your brain to look and focus on the good, and you're looking to find the great things in the run of your day. So try to stay a little more optimistic this year and see what happens. Number 7, reading is the most underrated way to learn and grow your mind. If you asked me 2 years ago if I liked reading, I would have said, nope. Even now, I still struggle a little bit with reading. I've gotten far better than I ever used to because I've practiced. Our brain is a muscle. And when we stop working it, it stops growing. It's so easy to talk to people that love reading, and they're like, it's their personality. They love it so much. And then you can talk to other people and they're like, I hate reading. I'll never read a book again. It is doing such a disservice to your potential when you stop reading. Audiobooks are an amazing second best option. Getting yourself to actually read physical words, I know that comes down to having time. Making time for that, even if it's 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day, a sentence a day in a book, is better than nothing. But I'm telling you, it is one of the most underrated ways to grow your mind and to just learn new things. You can always learn new things. Think about it. Someone's taken months, years, decades to write a book that you can read in a month. You're getting such intense information in such a short period of time. That has been someone's whole career of learnings that you have in the palm of your hand. So I encourage you, even if you read one book this year, just notice how that feels. Because again, you're talking to someone who hated reading so much. I thought it was so stupid. And now I can't imagine a world where I don't have a book or something on the go. Very, very good for your mind and good for your mental health. Okay, number 8. Sitting in silence is extremely necessary. I have found such solitude, gratitude, and a love for just sitting in silence. My favorite is to just sit on my couch, I cross my legs, I grab a bunch of essential oils, and I just sit there and I breathe, and I sit in silence, and I just notice. I notice my pulse, I notice my environment, I notice what I hear, I notice what I smell, I notice what I see, and I just notice. I notice my thoughts. Sometimes I have capacity to do a minute of this. Sometimes it turns into half an hour. Sitting in silence with no distraction is one of the best things we can do for our mind. Like, we are such go people, always needing something to stimulate us, something to focus on, something to do. Sitting in silence and practicing stillness is one of the most incredibly healthy things we can do for ourselves and for our wellness and our well-being. Slowing down the brain and just being present in your body. It's allowing you to expand your window of tolerance, expand your resilience, become comfortable in your own body. And if that is something that is overwhelming and scary, I encourage you to start that process in therapy. Have some kind of fidget toy with you, but sit with yourself with no distractions and just notice how you feel. This was very uncomfortable for me to do in the beginning, but the more that I've begun to sit with it, and to just notice, the easier that it's gotten. And was definitely one of my biggest takeaways from this last year is the beauty that comes from just sitting with yourself. Number 9, your self-perception, meaning how you view yourself and treat yourself, matters far greater than what any person on the face of this earth thinks of you. Because how you think of yourself is how you will show up. It is the lens in which you will see the world, which inevitably is going to dictate the people that you allow to be around you and to influence your life. And so just knowing that self-perception matters so much more than what others think of you. This is something that has taken me 25 years to actually fully understand and comprehend. I know that if my relationship with myself is not good, it really inevitably doesn't matter what other people think of me, because guess who we're stuck with 100% of the time? Ourselves, and our consciousness, and our thoughts, and our beliefs, and our self-perception of is going to dictate everything that we do and don't do. And so knowing that working on your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship that you can work on. And last but not least, number 10, you are the only thing getting in your way. I used to blame money, other people, my environment, the world, my brain, my trauma, everything for why I shouldn't do certain things. But guess what? I and you are the only things getting in our own way. We tell ourselves stories of why we shouldn't do things, oftentimes because we're scared or because we don't have the answers. And guess what? Both of those are okay and they're valid, but they will hold you back for your whole life. The only way that you will begin to have a different outcome and a different reality is when you take the necessary actions and steps to do so. It's easy to blame everybody else for not getting the results you want. But I'm here to tell you, based on my experiences and lessons from this year, that you are the only thing getting in your way. And when you're tired of getting in your way all the time, you'll eventually start to show up differently. But it's so easy to place the blame externally instead of turning internally. This is something that I'm still very much working on with certain things, but I know that I'm the only one that carries the responsibility, and the ability to write a different dialogue and script for my life. And the same rings true for you. And so I hope that you take that in a positive way of knowing that that is actually a very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Inspiring, maybe is the word. It's actually a very permission-giving sentence, because it just gives you the permission to say, hey, I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of my results and my outcomes. And it allows you to take action sooner instead of placing the blame on all these other things in our life. So you guys, those are the 10 biggest lessons that I learned this year that I wanted to share with you all. Again, this last year has been crazy. It has flown by. I can't believe that we are embarking on a new year. I know that I'm kind of ready for it. I'm ready for a fresh slate. My mind is kind of already thinking 2024. And I think it's important though to really reflect. It's easy to just jump from one year to the next. But when we do that, we're often repeating the same patterns. We're not recognizing all the great things that you've overcome and that you've learned this year, because no matter who you are going into 2024 a different person than you came into 2023. And that's a beautiful thing. That means you've evolved and that you've learned something and that you've grown. Reflect on that. Validate that for yourself and use that as fuel to ignite another amazing year. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me the capability to continue this podcast for another year. I want to thank you for everybody that has joined the Rewire to Inspire family over the last year and specifically the last couple of months. It fills my heart more than I could ever articulate into words. Being able to jump on this microphone is something that I wholeheartedly look forward to every single week. Even if it's challenging sometimes, I don't want to do it sometimes, I'm always so grateful that I did. And I'm so blessed that I have this opportunity to be able to jump on here and to be starting and continuing and igniting vital conversations around mental health. If anything, let this be the year that we really focus and prioritize our mental health, our self-love, our healing, and our well-being. So wishing you nothing but love and success and prosperity and happiness in the next year. I'm sending you all so much love, and I cannot wait to chat with you all for the next episode, the first of 2024. All the love, you guys. Goodbye.